There are places you're not supposed to find, people you're not supposed to meet, and moments that change the way you look at silence forever. In tonight's video, you'll hear 3 true stories. A woman in the woods, who's not quite alive. A free bike listed online that nearly turned into a trap. And a car that followed 3 teens through the dark with no lights and no reason. These aren't urban legends. They happened in the shadows of forgotten trails, abandoned forest roads, and sleepy small towns. You'll hear whispers. You'll feel the hair on your neck rise. And by the end, you'll start to wonder, what if it was you? What if you took that turn? What if you followed that app? So turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and remember, some things don't hide in the dark to scare you. They hide to wait. Story 1. The Haunting in Irving Forest. The Mysterious Woman. There's something ancient about the woods, something that makes you feel like you don't belong. Like the trees are older than time itself, and they're watching you. I've always loved mountain biking, especially off-trail deep in the Massachusetts countryside. Remote places with no signals, no crowds, just nature, wind, and the sound of your own breath. One day a friend told me about a trail near Irving Forest, supposedly just past a deer crossing sign. He said it was untouched, not on the maps. It sounded perfect. I never found the sign, but I did find a dirt path. Narrow, overgrown, twisting through a dense line of trees, like something out of a storybook. The canopy was thick overhead, swallowing the sunlight until everything took on a blue-gray hue. It was eerie, but beautiful. I rode for maybe 15 minutes, gliding through hills, ducking under branches. Pure freedom. Then I realized I hadn't brought any water. Not the worst mistake, except I was now deep in unfamiliar woods. I turned around. That's when things started to change. The trail didn't look the same. It twisted in ways I didn't remember. I passed the same leaning pine tree 3 times, but from different directions. Everything felt wrong. And then I saw her. She was just there off the path, standing perfectly still among the trees. An older woman, maybe in her 60s, wearing a faded gray coat and long dress. Her hair was thin white, her face pale and wrinkled. But her eyes, they didn't match the rest of her. They were cold, piercing, like they could see something in me that I didn't even know was there. I called out to her, "Ma'am, I'm lost. Do you know the way out of here?" She didn't move, didn't blink. Then finally she spoke. "You shouldn't be here." Her voice was soft, calm, but sharp like a blade wrapped in silk. I asked again, more urgently, "Please, I just need to get back to the road." She didn't answer my question. She only said, "Go. Now. Don't stay." Something in the way she said that last part sent a chill through my entire body. I got back on my bike, pedaled fast. But every few minutes, she'd appear again, standing still, watching. At first I thought I was imagining it, but it wasn't just once. She was there, again, and again, always just ahead, always silent, always staring. It was like she wasn't following me, she was guiding me. But not back to the trail, deeper. I dropped the bike and ran, dove behind a boulder, crouched low, holding my breath. The forest had changed, the wind was louder. The trees felt closer, and the rustling, it wasn't wind anymore. It was whispers. Then I heard something I'll never forget. A laugh, low, hoarse, like air being dragged through broken glass. I couldn't take it. I bolted. Branches cut my face, thorns scraped my legs, but I didn't care. Then, a glow, faint, flickering. I followed it. It was a house. Old but alive, warm yellow light glowing through the windows like a lighthouse in a black sea. I pounded on the door. An elderly man opened it, startled. I must have looked insane, sweating, scratched, breathless. I told him everything. His expression changed as I spoke. At first concern, then something else. Recognition and fear. When I described the woman, his face turned pale. 3 people have gone missing in that forest this month, he said quietly. That land, it doesn't belong to anyone. And nobody around here knows of any old woman living there. He gave me water, helped calm me down. I stayed there until someone came to pick me up. I never went back for my bike. I never went back to that forest. But even now I still see her sometimes in dreams, in the corner of my vision, in shadows that feel too still. I used to think nature was pure. But that day I learned something. Not everything in the forest is alive, and not everything that watches is human. Story 2. App Trap, the free bike with no way out. You know that old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Well, I learned that the hard way. It all started with a simple scroll through the Let Go app. I was just browsing around, not really looking for anything in particular, when I saw a listing for a black Trek mountain bike in great condition, free. It caught my attention immediately. I'd been using a beat-up old bike for months, and this one looked perfect. High-end frame, clean tires, no scratches. The kind of thing that should have gone for a few $100 at least. The seller's name was Gene. He replied fast. Friendly tone. Said the bike was first come, first served. I was excited. I asked for the address. That's when the red flags began. He didn't give an address. Instead, he sent GPS coordinates. I should have stopped there, but he explained I live off a private road. Locals know the spot, but it doesn't show up properly on maps. Sounded strange, sure, but not impossible. Some people value privacy. Some places don't show up right on GPS. And it was a free Trek bike. Then came the next weird part. He asked me to download a separate navigation app to follow the location more accurately. He even sent me a link to it. Again, I hesitated. But curiosity, or maybe stupidity, won out. I downloaded the app. It looked simple enough. It only opened one screen, a live tracker that showed a dot, moving toward the destination. On pickup day, I followed the dot for about 25 minutes, driving farther and farther away from the city. The roads narrowed. The houses became sparse. Eventually, I was on a gravel trail cutting through dense woods. When the tracker said I had arrived, there was nothing. No clearing, no driveway, no bike, just trees. Thick, silent, watching trees. I pulled over and sent Gene a message. Hey, I'm here. I don't see anything. No reply. Then 5 minutes later, sorry. Weak signal. Can't talk on the phone. Just walk in 200 feet from your car. You'll see a trail. I didn't see any trail. Just uneven brush and patches of dead leaves. At that point, something in my gut twisted. The silence wasn't peaceful anymore. It was pressurized. Like the woods were holding their breath. I messaged again. No reply. The sun was starting to dip below the trees. That's when I turned back toward the car and froze. All 4 of my tires had been slashed, clean cuts, deep. There was no way I was driving out of there. Before I could even think, I heard a sound. My car door. It creaked open. And then I saw it. Someone was crawling out from inside my car. From the backseat floor where a blanket had been laid out, like they'd been hiding under it the whole time. I saw only a flash eyes reflecting dim light. No expression. Just cold, calculating eyes watching me. I ran. Pure instinct. Didn't look back. I crashed through branches, scraped my arms, tore through brush. Behind me, I heard the car door slam shut, then footsteps fading into the woods. I didn't stop running until I hit the main road. I got a signal and called 911. 15 minutes later, a cruiser showed up. I took them back to the car. They checked the scene, the slashed tires, the app. I downloaded the messages from Gene. The tracker app was gone from the store. Just gone. The GPS coordinates led to a dead zone. No house nearby. No signs of a trail. They towed my car and told me to file a full report. But I never heard anything back. No suspect. No name. No trace of whoever was hiding in my back seat. Waiting. I spent the next few weeks changing all my passwords, locked down my social media, bought cameras for my apartment, because I kept thinking they knew my name, my number, my car. What else did they know? I deleted the Let Go app that night. Now whenever I see something listed for free online, I scroll right past. Because I learned something out there in the woods. Some offers aren't gifts. They're traps, set by people who know exactly what kind of person will bite the hook. And if I had walked just a little farther into those trees, I might have never walked back out. Story 3. The Shadow at Night. Someone was following us. Back in high school, there wasn't much to do in my town. We didn't have movie theaters or malls or arcades, just open streets, empty fields, and a whole lot of nothing after dark. So most nights, especially Fridays, my two best friends Jackson and Roddy and I would hop on our bikes and just ride around. No destination. Just music in our ears and cold wind on our faces. It was our little escape from school, parents, and everything else. But one night, it stopped feeling like freedom. It started around 11:45 p.m. The town had gone quiet. Streetlights buzzed faintly overhead and the roads were empty. We were riding through a long stretch of open road near a strip mall that was always deserted at night. That's when we saw it. A car, dark-colored sedan, no headlights. It pulled slowly into the parking lot across the street, then stopped. Just sat there, engine running, facing us directly. At first we thought it was nothing, maybe a worker waiting for someone. But something about it felt wrong. Too still, too deliberate. Jackson said it first. Why is he just staring at us? We didn't answer. Roddy suggested we turn around and take the back route through the neighborhoods. So we did. Took the next right, sped up, didn't look back. But the feeling didn't leave. And then, we heard it. Tires on pavement. We looked over our shoulders and there it was. The same car. It had turned onto our street, driving slowly, following at a distance. No headlights. No other cars around. Just us. And him. None of us spoke. We just pedaled faster. Cut through a shortcut behind a grocery store. Through a side alley. Hoping to lose him. But when we emerged onto the next street, he was there. He had gone around and was now crawling behind us again. That's when fear turned into panic. I told them cut left. Head to my house. We'll lose him in the yard. We sped through a side path between two houses, jumped the curb, tore across my front lawn, and just as we reached my backyard gate, I turned my head. The car was turning onto my street, headlights still off, moving slower now, like he knew exactly where we were. We slammed the gate shut and ducked down, hiding behind the fence. The car didn't stop, didn't honk, just coasted by. But we all saw it. The silhouette in the driver's seat. No movement. No sound. Just watching. My dad was still up watching TV in the living room. When I told him what happened, he stepped outside. By then the street was empty. We thought it was over. Jackson and Roddy eventually went home. My dad double-locked the doors. I went upstairs trying to shake the feeling. But that night wasn't done. Around 2 a.m., I was still wide awake. Couldn't sleep. That's when I heard it. A faint clicking noise. Rhythmic. Metal on metal. I got up and looked out the back window. The old shed door behind our house was open. Not wide, just cracked. Enough for someone to be standing inside. And the noise was coming from there. I called out to my dad. He came upstairs, looked through the window, then grabbed the flashlight and went out. He opened the shed door, shined the light in. It was empty. No signs of anyone. Just our old bikes, lawn tools, boxes. But I know what I heard. The next morning, my dad reported everything to the local police. They were polite, took the statement, but there wasn't much they could do. No license plate, no security footage, no direct threat, just fear and shadows. For weeks after that, we felt like we were being watched. One of our bikes was moved one night. Another time, my friend Roddy swore he saw the same car parked outside his house, but it was gone when he looked again. To this day, we don't know who it was, but what keeps me up sometimes is how he knew where I lived. How he drove past so calmly, like it wasn't his first time. And the clicking in the shed. Maybe it wasn't meant to scare me. Maybe it was just a reminder that some people don't need to break in to get close. Sometimes they're already there, waiting. Some stories don't end with a scream. They end with something quieter. A door left cracked open, a glow between the trees, a clicking sound in the shed that only you seem to hear. 3 people, 3 different paths, and one terrifying truth they all share. They weren't alone. A woman who appears again and again. A fake listing designed to lure someone far from help. And a car that follows you home then disappears without a trace. What's worse than being hunted, being chosen, targeted, and not knowing why? So if you ever feel like something's watching you in the woods, or a free offer seems just a little too perfect, or a car without headlights starts matching your pace, don't ignore your gut. Don't wait for it to speak. Because sometimes the scariest part isn't what's chasing you. It's realizing it was already there.